The Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey made a tremendous impact on the consciousness of people of African descent all over the world between 1914 and 1940. He awakened an overwhelming sense of racial pride in black people through his race-first ideology and empowered them to be self-reliant. Marcus Garvey dared to envision the potential power of a united black community across the world at a time when colonial nations dominated Africa and the Caribbean, and when racial segregation and lynching in the United States was rampant. The establishment of the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League, or UNIA-ACL, which he formed to fight for the rights of black people worldwide, was the actualization of his vision. Garvey's influence and impact on the world was so significant that when he died on June 10, 1940 in London, England, where he then resided, it seemed like the entire world went into mourning. Loyal Garveyites held major memorials and processions in his honor in New York and New Orleans in the USA, Kingston, Jamaica, and elsewhere. Owing to the fact that Garvey died while World War II was happening, it was not possible to have his remains brought back to Jamaica immediately after his death. Consequently, he was buried in the catacombs of St. Mary's Catholic Church in Kensal Green, West London. In 1956, in recognition of Garvey's global greatness and the significant part he played in liberating the spirit and minds of his people, the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation erected a bronze bust of Garvey in the George VI Memorial Park. The bust was officially unveiled on November 4, 1956, and was symbolic of Garvey's love for his people. It had been reported that Garvey's dying wish was to have his body brought back to Jamaica. This wish was made a reality in November 1964, some 24 years after his death, through the initiative of the Jamaican government, steered by then Minister of Culture, the Honorable Edward Seaga, Amy Jakes Garvey, widow of Marcus Garvey, and the UNIA. The body was met on arrival at the airport on November 10, 1964 by government officials, Mrs. Garvey, Marcus Garvey Jr., among others. His body lay in state for 5 days at the Holy Trinity Cathedral in Kingston, where thousands of persons came to pay their respects. The casket was closed and draped with the UNIA flag. However, UNIA officials along with approximately 200 persons were allowed to view the open casket so as to remove any doubts as to whether it was really Garvey in the casket. On November 15, 1964, a state funeral was held for Garvey. Following the service, there was a motorcade from the cathedral to George VI Memorial Park, where his remains were reinterred. An estimated 30,000 people, including UNIA members, government officials, and representatives of various Commonwealth countries, gathered at the park to watch the reburial. He was buried in a vault that lies in the middle of a black star, a symbol associated with Garvey. The legacy of the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey is a very rich one. His life, work, and lessons remain relevant for black people all over the world. It is important that we always pay homage to this remarkable individual and be very grateful that he is home where he wanted to be. When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, black, and green around me. For in the new life, I shall rise with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions up the heights of triumph with the colors that you well know. Look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Look for me all around you, for with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America and the West Indies, and millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Marcus Garvey, 1925.